future. I hope you enjoyed that little intro before I started with the review because, and I gotta thank Adamagreen for that. Big shout out to him from his 800 subscriber special for the entire members of the Green Clan. I hope you don't mind me using the intro for my upcoming videos in the near future, Adam. And if you like the intro, I can actually keep it. If you don't like it, well, okay. But just let me know what you think of the intro on the comment section down below. So first off, well, 2012 is coming to an end, and what better way to end it and to begin with 2013 with a chapter of Toriko. 217, signal for the outbreak of war. Yep. What I called it, I knew the Bishokukai were going to interrupt the cooking fest. It's not really a surprise because this isn't the first time a shonen series had a tournament interrupted by an invading army. So the chapter begins with a couple of strange creatures that we see that are they're fleeing for their lives. According to the text boxes by the narration, it seems that the animals have like some sort of abnormal behavior when it comes to natural disasters. And from what has been foreshadowed, these animals are fleeing from the scene because of what is to come later on in 2013. And it seems that the giraffe bird has really sensed something, and it was about to scream, letting everybody know the danger in the area. But we have to cut back to the cooking fest. In last week's chapter, Komatsu was really nervous as hell because he's facing off against Zaus in the very first match of the top 32 finals of the cooking fest. He ran into one of his friends called Ume-chan. They do have a happy reunion between the two. Ume, of course, came to congratulate Komatsu for entering the tournament, and that he was incredibly proud of him. And of course, Komatsu does what he usually does, cry. But he's like really happy and relieved to see Ume-chan again. But then it's been short-lived because Ume-chan brought up what happened to Utake, another one of Komatsu's old friends back in the cooking days. Apparently he didn't know a lot about the information, but he did hear about the incidents about the chefs being kidnapped by the Bishokukai, and he did hear that one of them was Utake, but he didn't actually learn more about that because of his, get this, half-year-long trip in space. Yes, in the world of Toriko, you can go on a trip to space. That is awesome. I don't know what it is about this world in Toriko, but I want to live in it. I just wish it was so real, except without the dangerous creatures, of course. I mean, that would be quite terrifying in the gourmet world, but I guess it couldn't be as bad as the world of Berserk. Am I right? Yeah, for those of you who don't know about Utake, Utake was also a friend of Komatsu, and I guess you consider him as a rival towards Komatsu. He's also one of the top 100 chefs, but unlike Komatsu, all he cared about was money and fame, and he never cared about making food to make people happy or cared about the customers anyway. And because of this, they left on a sour note, them getting into an argument of who's the better chef. Now, later on, it was revealed that Utake has been kidnapped by the Bishokukai, who's been kidnapping all these chefs for, I guess the reason was to obtain their cooking skills. Eventually, Utake joined the Bishokukai, becoming a chef in their rankings. He even had gourmet cells injected into him, like the cells that the Heavenly Four Kings have. And despite joining the Bishokukai, Utake still has respect for Komatsu and still considers him as a friend/rival. And he's now the chef of a combo with Starjum, a previous Bishokukai member who has faced off against Toriko in the past. So before Komatsu was about to tell Ume about what happened to Utake, Komatsu and Ume-chan were greeted by Toriko, Coco, Sunny, Milk the Second and Takimaru. Of course, they wanted to congratulate Komatsu for getting really far into the tournament. And then Ume finally learns that Komatsu is also in a combo partner with Toriko, and of course he's like really surprised about this. So Komatsu introduced Ume-chan, which apparently his real name is Nakaume, yes. And we do get to learn a little bit more about this guy. Apparently, he's the heir of the famous He's the heir of the famous Nakaume cooking school. And apparently he knew one of the chefs named Granny Sumire. Okay, yeah, this is a problem with Toriko that I always have, that they always have a tons of characters, the names they mentioned, which I always forget who they were. Was, I gotta ask for the Toriko fans, was Granny Sumire one of the chefs that, that helped Komatsu make the medicinal mochi during the 4-Beast arc? I don't really remember Sumire. I'm not that familiar. Maybe she was also one of the chefs in the cooking fest. I'm not really sure. Now, before their conversation can continue, they get interrupted by these people dressed in tuxedos. They're asking Nakaume to prepare a meal for President Moi. Apparently, Moi is a president of the gourmet tourists, and it seems to be that Nakaume is President Moi's private chef. So then we hear an announcement saying that the first match of the top 32 finals will begin with Komatsu versus Chef Zaus. And of course, everybody wishes them luck, especially Toriko. Specifically, what he says is that the talent he has as a chef won't lose to Zaus, Granny Setsu, and of course Ranchi. Of course, before Toriko can wish Komatsu luck, he does notice a mysterious figure with I don't know exactly who this guy is, or girl. It could be a girl, but we do see some weird looking ribbons around his body. At first I thought it was it looked a lot like Chef Yuda, but it couldn't really be him. So this is definitely foreshadowing to something that's coming. So right when Komatsu leaves to get ready for his match, Toriko whispers to Coco and Sunny that he got information from Zebra that they are here. And by they, I mean the Bishokukai, of course. I mean, who else could it possibly be? Lots of foreshadowing. So, you'd think that this was going to be like some sort of Iron Chef match between Komatsu and Chef Zaus, but apparently this is actually a different match. Kind of like the matches that we've sort of seen but kind of skipped over. Apparently in this part of the match, they're going to take on a competition called Dark Cooking Duel. Basically, Komatsu and Chef Zaus will have to cook in the dark, and they have to rely on their intuition and sense of smell. Of course, the ingredients that they're going to be using, also some of them have taste really bad, and of course they're special preparation ingredients. So they have to be they really have to be extremely careful by cooking in that tent. But before we get to the tournament, again, more foreshadowing of what's to come. I mean, as if Shimabukuro cannot add anymore. I mean, we get it. We know what's coming. Apparently, Chef Zaus says to Komatsu that he's glad that he will be facing off against him in the first match. And he says that he will be able to go all out for the last time. Now, this is definitely interesting, because is this foreshadowing that people are gonna die from what's to come? Because, well, in Toriko, this is actually one of my problems I have. Despite the sense of danger we have with the gourmet world and these strange creatures, and of course the Bishokukai, of course, not a lot of characters die. I mean, characters do die at some point, but usually they're not characters that we don't even know. They're usually characters that were introduced in one chapter, and in the next chapter they're dead. But you do see creatures dying, so there is a sense of danger to it. But what is Chef Zaus foreshadowing, it may be that he says for the last time. Does this mean that Chef Zaus might die himself? We don't know. Maybe people are gonna die from what's to come. But then we have to come back to the men's washroom, where we see Baranchi putting batteries inside him. I am not kidding. He has a pair of batteries and he inserts them on his neck with these weird slots that he has. I mean, what the fuck? Is he a robot or something? He runs on batteries? What the? I don't know what it is, but after he put on those batteries, he starts to feel relieved, but then he senses a presence. Again, more foreshadowing. So, but now, finally, the first match of the dark cooking duel begins, and before we can get into that, we cut back to Adamagreen. Apparently, something or someone has decapitated all the giraffe birds. I am not kidding. You get to see a line of giraffe birds and their heads flying off their bodies. Something cut them off. I don't know what, but is this like before, or I don't know if this is like before or after the giraffe birds can start screaming their warning. But yeah, they have arrived. You know why? Because the tournament, once again, another tournament gets interrupted because before Komatsu and Zaus can even start preparing their meals, Komatsu feels something really warm. And we don't know what that is in the dark until we see a gloved hand grabbing on Komatsu's arm. And on the final page, we see none other than Star June. Star June has grabbed Komatsu. Komatsu is in big trouble, and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Toriko chapter 217. What did I think about this chapter? I thought this was a decent chapter, but there was a lot of foreshadowing of what is to come with the upcoming invasion of the Bishokukai against IGO, the chefs, and of course the Bishokuya. I know that Star June has great respect with Komatsu as a chef, but I think I think he's grabbing onto him because he wants him to join the Bishokukai or something. I mean, come to think of it, why would the Bishokukai would come to this tournament? I mean, they want to capture all the chefs. Unless this was foreshadowing to the war that will lead to God, Acacia's main course. But that won't happen until 6 months, and it hasn't been 6 months yet in Toriko's time, so that is still, I guess that will come up after the cooking fest. But all I know is that I am looking forward to Toriko versus Star June round 2, because from what we've seen last time, they faced off against each other, well, in a fight at least, that was during the Regal Mammoth arc, and Star June was operating a GT Robo, and Toriko nearly died fighting against him while he was using a GT Robo. This time he might be facing off against him for real. No robot, just him. So that one I am looking forward to. But I know that Toriko has improved these past couple of chapters. I mean, with his training and all that. But the guy nearly died facing off against him. It wasn't for the fact that he found the jewel meat inside the Regal Mammoth, he would have died. Now, I know that Shimabukuro wants to end off 2012 with a bang, but if this was leading towards the Bishokukai invasion, I was really hoping that he didn't skip those previous matches. I mean, I can understand him skipping the cooking to the end of the triathlon, but I was actually hoping that he would elaborate more on the last two tournaments. I mean, the last two competitions. That would have been really good to see reading on the in the chapters, and then getting to the Bishokukai appearing. That would have been really good, but again, I guess Shimabukuro wants to get to the Bishokukai invasion. You know, just to. You know, because it's shonen and we want some action, I guess. But, you know, if the anime does come to the Cooking Fest, I hope it'll elaborate more on the last two competitions. Hopefully. All in all, I'm definitely looking forward to 218 and seeing what is going to happen. It's too bad we didn't get to see Zaus and Komatsu face off against each other in this tournament. And, again, it's not surprising that in another shonen series, a tournament gets interrupted by an invading army. But I am looking forward to it, and I'm definitely looking forward to what's to come. Who will face off against who will win, but we'll just have to wait and see in 2013. So that is Toriko chapter 217. And with that out of the way, this was going to be the last video of 2012. And I guess for that, I will have to say this. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? We'll take a cup of kindness yet for auld lang syne. Happy New Year, you guys! Can't wait for 2013. Expect great things. I'm New Spiral 27, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.